the portion of Tazria and Metzora, connected portions. It is told about the Gaon of Vilna when he was 6 years old. The Gaon of Vilna was a holy of holies. It is known that they say he knew the Torah forwards and backwards. Let's say you know Shir Lama'alot by heart. Shir Lama'alot Esa Einai El Heharim. Do you know it by heart? Who doesn't know it by heart, right? But if I tell you to say it from the end to the beginning, you can't say it. The Gaon of Vilna knew the Torah forwards and backwards. He was able to recite the Torah from the end to the beginning as well. What was the secret of the Gaon of Vilna? It is written, inscribe them on the tablet of your heart. That is, if I tell you the Song of Ascents is written, then you can indeed read it from the end to the beginning. So for the Gaon of Vilna, the Torah was like, inscribe them on the tablet of your heart. Therefore, he could recite the Torah from the end to the beginning. So they asked him at the age of 6. At the age of 6, they asked him, after all, usually adjacent texts are expounded. That is, why is the section of the spies adjacent to the section of Miriam? Why is the section of the Nazirite adjacent to the section of the suspected adulteress? And so on in this manner. So they asked him, the end of the previous section, the section of Shemini, ends with, to distinguish between the unclean and the clean, and between the animal that may be eaten and the animal that may not be eaten. At the beginning of the section of Tazria, it is written, and the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, if a woman conceives and gives birth to a male. So they asked him if there is a connection between the end of the section of Shemini and the beginning of the section of Tazria. Then the Gaon of Vilna said, it is written in the Gemara in Yoma, page 82. It is known that if a pregnant woman on Yom Kippur craves a certain food, they whisper in her ear, Yom Kippur. If she calms down, then they do not feed her. But if she does not calm down, due to the danger to life, they feed her. In fact, who is craving the food? It's the baby. So the Gemara tells of an incident where a pregnant woman smelled food. On Yom Kippur, craved a certain food on Yom Kippur, and the sage said to whisper in her ear, it's Yom Kippur. They whispered in her ear, and she did not calm down. She was not well, and they needed to feed her. So the sage recited the verse about her, the wicked are estranged from the womb. Meaning already from the womb, I know that this baby is destined to be wicked. Who came from her? The Gemara says, Shabtai the hoarder, he would stop all the fruit, buy all the fruit from the market. You become exclusive. And then what is called expropriating the gates. Yes, raising the prices. So it's called Shabbatai, Asar, Pera. This is not an invention of our generation, price inflation. Yes. A second case, the Gemara says that again a woman and her fetus craved a certain food. They whispered in her ear, told her it was Yom Kippur, and thank God her mind was settled. A sage recited about her, I believe it was Rabbi, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Even before you come into the world, I know that here are great ideals. Who came from her? Rabbi Yochanan. So the Gaon of Vilna said, based on this Gemara, that one was whispered to in her ear and her mind was not settled, and a wicked person came from her. And one was whispered to in her ear and her mind was settled, and a righteous person like Rabbi Yochanan came from her. Then the Gaon of Vilna says, at the end of the previous section, it is written to distinguish between the unclean and the clean, and between the living creature that may be eaten. In the context of childbirth, it is important to recognize that a woman in labor is often referred to as a living creature. This terminology is derived from a specific passage in the scriptures, which states, not like the Hebrew women. This phrase highlights the unique and vital role that women play during the process of giving birth. The comparison to Hebrew women suggests a distinction in then one until it comes out of the woman, repeated 5 times. So, did she eat on Yom Kippur or did she not eat on Yom Kippur? If she ate on Yom Kippur, roast it now. To rule by Rabbi Yochanan, they went up and down. To rule by Rabbi Yochanan, they went up and down.